Hi everybody, this is Mario Esparza here, my presentation for CI336 on pH scopes, um, pH variable scopes, and PHP variables can be declared anywhere in the script, and the scope is just a matter of how you're using those variables. The scope is a variable and it's part of the script. Um, like I said, it can be referenced anywhere and be used anywhere in the script. There's three types of PHP scopes. There's local, global, and static. A local scope is when a variable is declared within a function, and that function it's called a local scope, and it can only be accessed within that function. If we can see over here in the code, we have our function, and then we have our variable with the scope, and then it can only be used in there. And we'll get to these examples in just a second. We'll just continue with this. The next one's global scope, and that's when a variable is declared outside of the function that it has a global scope, and they can only be accessed outside of that function. And once again, with the example, we have our scope right here, with the number of 5, and then we have our function inside with the echo. The last one is static scope, and sometimes once the function has been completed or executed, all the variables are deleted. But sometimes we want to keep our local information and not have it be deleted. So we need to, because we may need it for future reference. To do this, we need to use the static keyword when we first declare that variable. In the example here, we have the function of my test, and then we have a static keyword with our local scope. And then this just means that we're adding 1, 1. So we're going to be using this information and then adding some more. Over to NetBeans, I laid out the codes here. So we have our global scope ready to go. The function sits outside, and then we're ready for our run. Same thing with the local one. Here's our function, here's our scope, and then all the parameters to run the test. Same thing with the static. We have it all set up. And if we turn over to, once we run that, we get something that looks a little bit like this. As you can notice, we can't, the global one, we can't find the local one, so that's what it's telling us. Line 6, the variable x cannot be defined. Same thing with our local one. We have our local function equals 10, y equals 10, but then we have the issue with y, you can't find it outside of it because I can't run. And then our static, we have our variable of 0 that we set up over here, and then we run the equations, and it gives us it uses the further one, adds 1, and then it runs it again, it takes that 1, and then adds another 1, so we get 2, so that's a 1, 0, 1, 2. There's my small presentation on variable scopes and how they function. One thing I did learn when doing some research is that if you needed to use like the global scope, you can come in here, type in global, and then run the scope into it, and then we run that, we get a test, and then now you can use the variable inside a global scope inside the echo, and it works just the same for the local scope. And so thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed and clarify a little bit on how scopes work.